But maybe they need to find a better way of him using himself in this team because either people aren't going with him or he's not, he's zigging when they're zagging or something. But George Williams can't have his hand on the ball that much and not a lot happen off the back of it. And that's as big a conundrum to address as whatever's happening in those sort of centre second row channels for defence.
Yeah. I mean, I said at the start of the season I didn't think Warrington's pack were good enough to lay a platform for the backs, and whilst the backs might be misfiring, I still feel that's the case. I think until they get a pack that can properly lay a platform in front of their backs, they're going to find it hard going.
Yeah. Do you want to take us through the news from this game?
I will. Mason Lino, Wakefield Trinity. Great B, high tackle, 1 match penalty notice.
He gets to spend that on the Combies game, doesn't he? Because he was in that squad originally.
Well, yeah. So Wakefield coach Willie Poaching is expecting without centre Reece Lynn for at least a month through injury. Trinity are waiting for a full diagnosis on the injury suffered in the victory over Hull. EFC 78JU says Widdop close to Mendeho's jungle move. Gareth Widdop's near to joining Jake Mamo at the Castleford Tigers. He's been one hell of a player since arriving from the NRL. That's debatable. A bit difficult. Yeah, and now in his potential final season, he's starting to be a flop and is part of the fight to stay in the Super League and climb up.
Starting to be, again, debatable.
Into the playoffs. Scored a nice try this week. If the deal goes through, and not to break down them, Widdop will have more chance of winning something. I doubt that either. But do you think he'll end up at Castleford?
It seems a solid rumour if they're talking about it on Sky like they were.
Mm.
Billy Magoulias has returned to Australia on compassionate grounds after being released by Warrington Wolves with immediate effect as well. So, there's been a bit of a turnover in that pack as well. You talked about I didn't know what we were going to get from Magoulias at the start of the year. Probably an interchange loose forward, I thought he'd play. I also expected Rob Mulhern and Rob Butler to step up this year, and Butler's clearly not. He's off at Wakefield now and played on the other side in this one. But now it's changed around, hasn't it? They've got Amor in, they've got, is it Mikhail, whatever, that guy in. So it's already starting to turn around that pack. So let's see if that turns around performances.
Yeah.
But he's a player who's gone without doing fuck all. He won't be remembered, will he?
No. Exactly, won't.
I'll let you do the standings, see the sure guys
yes, still standing proud at the top. St Helens keep their 4-point lead at the top, with Catalan still ahead of Wigan on points difference behind them. They have 26, 22 and 22 points respectively. Huddersfield in fourth have 21, and then there's a 5-point gap to Hull on 16. Castleford are back in the top 6 on points difference. They and Hull KR both have 14. Leeds in 8th have 11. Warrington, Salford and Wakefield have 10. And Toulouse are well adrift on 4.
Stat line of the week's Bevan French's 3 tries, 10 tackle busts. I mean, 3 tries is good, 10 tackle busts is good. 199 metres and 2 clean breaks. And he's my player of the week as well. I thought, he was exceptional again this week, and he's really starting to find his best form again. He looks fitter, more capable, and I'll give him player of the week as long as he doesn't go to Hull FC next season.
Well, because I only saw highlights of all the other games, I'm going to have to give my player of the week to a Saints player, because that was the only game I saw all of live, and that's going to be, and I never thought I would say...
Oh my God.
Conrad Hurrell.
Wowzers. I can remember when the rumours of him signing were swirling around Magic Weekend last year.
Honestly, I've had to put my hands up in the air and say, got it wrong so far.
Predictions last week, I got 5 out of 6. Sarah got 4 out of 6. I think her side, Hull FC, let her down a bit in that one. In terms of the host Super Roo, you say top, David. You got a yellow cap week as well, so you had a strong week. But I'm second, Sarah's third, and Alan's fourth. In the main Super Roo, David, you've hit the top of that table as well, so you're flying.
Oh, I saw. Yeah. Which, given the week before where I got 1 out of 6, is a flipping miracle, to be honest. But anyway,
Yeah,
never mind.
David Dillon's got the yellow cap, so well done to another David there too. And in the Fantasy League, of course, Alan Bagley stays top. Neil Ormston, who's his closest challenger, top scored this week with 732, so well done to Alan and to Neil. Thanks for everyone who got the fan views in all of those games. Make sure you get your fan views in on next week's games. I know it's a bit different next week, but yeah, try and put yourself through watching some of those internationals anyway. But thanks for the fan views on this week's games, and that is the Super League wrapped up. We're now going to move on to other results from around the world of rugby league. Time for other results, David. Do you want to do the results? I'll do the fan views.
Yes, let's do that. So, first of all, it was the Women's International. It finished Wales 6, England 32.
Yeah, this was played on Sunday, weren't it? On my wife's birthday. I wasn't able to watch this because I was being a good husband. But Paul Mac _78 said, lovely little ground that couldn't be more Welsh. More forward passes than the NFL. The stars were the two fullbacks. Tara Stanley is so light on her feet, reminds me of a bit of RTS. Unfortunately, though, I think she's the only English player who could play in the NRLW. England are in for a rude shock come Rugby League World Cup time. PNG will have 4 or 5 players in the NRLW, and I think will beat England handily, and Australia and New Zealand will demolish both.
Ooh.
I think there's more of our players that could go. I can't remember what the team were picked for this team, but I think there's more of our players who could go down under and perform. But at the moment, there's still a few finding their feet as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, you don't get the chance to see what the international standards like, is it really? And the women's game's been improving so much over the past few years.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to benchmark, I think. So anyway,
no, but I don't think. I think Shani Crowell could go over there and monster just like she's doing. She'd have to sharpen up a bit, but she could do it. I think there's players who maybe can't go over there and play exactly the same as they're playing now, but that's in a weird way a little bit to do with our structure, with like them having had so many easy games up to this point. But I certainly think there's players who could go over there, tidy a few things up and show it. But Tara Stanley is definitely an outstanding performer. Yeah. She's got to be, based on the few weeks as well, beating Leeds and beating Saints for York, one of the stars already of the Super League women's season. So let's move on though into the Championship.
So it was Championship round 15. And the scores were Workington 0, Barrow 58, Batley 58, Newcastle 18, Dewsbury 18, London Broncos 26, and we've got a view on this one.
Yeah, Leighton Rhino said, great to see Eccles basically saying, those that train hardest will get in. This year, the minimum is staying up, but blooding some young talent to build on next year is crucial too. That was a big win for London.
A very big win for London, that one. Whitehaven 12, Halifax 24, Widnes 14, York 16.
More competitive from old Widnes there, and waiting for Uncle Two Skulls to take charge. You'll obviously been paying interest there.
Exactly. Sheffield 10, Bradford 30, and then in the game of the round, it was Leigh 32, Featherstone 12, which was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and Carsten said, Leigh were more clinical than Fev and earned the win. Their pack seems to be too big for Fev. All cards were okay, and it looks like Fev are losing the who gets broke by not getting promoted battle. Yeah, I think there was some late cards. I didn't see this one live, but I saw some of the highlights. And it just seems like Leigh have, as the years gone on, with the players they've brought in and that sort of stuff and the changes they've made, they've just got bigger, more powerful, and it's just too much for even Fev to contend with. But Fev did score a couple of plays with some really nice bits of hands as well. There was was it Helliwell's offload for one of the tries was a really nice bit of play. So there's the Fev still could swing things around, but Leigh look to be becoming the dominant force, don't they? And that's reflected in the standings.
Yeah, it is. So League go top now on 28 points after dealing Featherstone their first league defeat of the year. Feather on 27 points, York are on 24, Batley on 21, Halifax on 20 are their closest chasers. Barrow have 19, Bradford 16, Sheffield 14, and they make up the top 8. Widnes and Newcastle are both on 10, Whitehaven have 5, and London are out of the relegation spots after that vital win on 5
That's
points.
the context, isn't it, to the how crucial that win was.
Yeah, Dewsbury on 4 and Workington are on 2 at the bottom.
In the champion
news,
Matthew Cozza has joined Championship side Barrow on a 1-month loan deal from Catalans Dragons. Halfback Corey Aston has returned to fellow Championship club Sheffield Eagles on an initial 3-week loan deal. London Broncos have brought in Casford prop Sam Hall, his second appearance in the news this week, and York hooker Sam Davies, who of course started his career at London. They've both come in, but Will Blakemore has left the club, so Hall's joined them on a 1-month loan deal from Cass, and then Davies has rejoined them for the remainder of the season on loan from York. Sheffield Eagles have confirmed the permanent signing of versatile halfback Tom Holmes from Featherstone Rovers. I think he's been playing a lot of hooker for them, but I think that's rejuvenated their halfback pairing, hasn't it? Corey Aston and Tom Holmes, both with Super League experience. Bradford have announced that fullback Brandon Pickersgill has returned to the club on a 1-match loan deal from Championship leaders Featherstone. I mean, weird that it's only 1 match, but he's too good to not be playing. Brandon Pickersgill, so good that he's back somewhere where he'll get some game time. And then finally, Liam Finn has been appointed as head coach of Championship struggles Dewsbury on a deal until the end of 2023. So he's obviously had a long playing career that ended at Dewsbury, and now he's coaching at the Rams.
Good luck to him.
Yep.
So in League 1, it was round 11, and it was West Wales 16. London Scholars 38, Cornwall 12, Keighley 56, Hunslet 30, North Wales 22, Oldham 66, Midlands 0, and Swinton 34, Rochdale 14. So in the standings, Keighley stay 100% at the top on 20 points. Swinton are second on points difference with North Wales also on 16. Rochdale have 14 points, still in 4th. Doncaster have 12. Hunslet have 11. Oldham have 7. Midlands and Scholars have 6. West Wales have 2. And Cornwall, plucky Cornwall, stay on bottom with no points.
Did you see there was a bit of Rangy Chase magic in that loss away at Swinton for Rochdale? Another sort of no-look inside ball offload that made all the highlights. I mean, every time he does something, the RFL are all over it. But still, that's a big win for Swinton, I think, in that game.
Yeah,
it's got them pushing back, looking back up at the top. So, but disappointment for North Wales as they go to 2 defeats in a row. In terms of the news in League One, Keighley have signed former New Zealand and Samoa international centre Junior Sal for the remainder of the 2022 season. He'd been off fanning around playing Union in America or something, hasn't he? So, but that's a big signing. They are certainly the Lee of their division. Lee winger Kieran Dixon is on the move on a second loan move away this season from the Centurions. He's signed for League One side Rochdale on a 2-week loan. And then League One duo Oldham and Cornwall have both added new faces to their forward pack with month-long loan signings of Declan O'Donnell and Nathan Cullen, respectively.
Right, moving on to the Wheelchair Super League. It was Wigan 64, Halifax 48. Sounds like a good game.
Halifax were ahead at half-time, so Wigan came back into that one. So really good work for Wigan.
Good game, that.
Might put them top, actually, over Halifax now. I'm not sure what the standings are, but
no,
it's hard to find the up-to-date standings because sometimes the fixtures come in, the results come in late, and then,
and in the other game this weekend, it was Leeds 94, the London Roosters 34.
Yes. Into Origin, I think we should go now. Cards on the table. I was working really hard on Wednesday. I didn't get to watch Origin. Then I got home from work, and when I would normally watch Origin on a catch-up, Yorkshire and Lancashire were playing in the T20, and boy was I not disappointed by watching that game.
And I have to confess, I was drinking ice cold Jura wine, sitting at a lovely Portuguese